So in international criminal law, it's about punishing the most serious global crimes. It was developed after the Nuremberg Tribunal, and the main source of it today is the Rome Statute in the International Criminal Court. The key principle here was that individuals can be held liable, right, and even including presidents and military leaders. The main crimes we learned about were war crimes, crimes against humanity, genocide, crime of aggression, torture, as well. So starting backwards from torture, it's absolutely banned. There's no excuse, including for war, emergency terrorism. It's just Kogan's norm, which is obviously the highest level of prohibition. Back to crimes of aggression, it was illegal. It's basically the illegal use of force by one state against another, including like invasion, bombardment, blockade. It usually applies to top political or military leaders, which is a key distinguishing. Genocide it requires specific intent. It's very hard to establish genocide, but specific intent to destroy a protected group, such as like ethnics, racials, religious, or nationals. It's harder to prove than other crimes, because it's not just about killing people, it's like destruction of an entire group. You have crimes against humanity. It was a widespread and systematic attack on civilians. It usually happens in times of peace or war, so it can include murder, deportation, torture, persecution, and sexual violence. And then back to war crimes, we had like war crimes like just serious breaches during armed conflict, but they also needed to have a nexus to war and conflict. So examples of this was like killing civilians, torture, rape, attacking prisoners. So it can occur in civil war or international law. It's not just just because it's international. So to the memorandum, we talked about the state-linked campaign against an ethnic majority, which was Vatari. This included arrests, torture, rape, executions. You had forced displacement. The crimes that were actually committed was crimes against humanity under Article 7, because the attack was widespread, systematic, and it was against civilians. This was specifically like Falcon's Command, organised chain of command, and it was state-backed. There was also genocide under Article 6 of the Rome Statute, because the president had said that the Vatari should remain. There was strong evidence of an intent to destroy an ethnic group. This was also killing, serious harm, sexual violence, and preventing group survival. Under Article 8 of the Rome Statute, there were war crimes as well because of the non-international armed conflict that was there. We had the civilians targeted during the conflict. There was also torture, rape, and killings, which were linked to war. So yeah, the key takeaway there was that any same conduct can amount to different crimes at one time. The individuals that were liable for all of this was President Numa, because he was the policy architect. He controlled the Falcon Command, and he's liable because of indirect perpetration. You also had General Veloz. He ordered the executions. He supervised the campaign. He was directly liable because of commanding responsibility. You also had Minister Rami. He helped appoint commanders involved in planning. He was also aiding and facilitating these crimes. There was Colonel Gwan. He personally executed 140 civilians, so he's clearly a direct perpetrator. He has the actus reus clearly there, and the mens rea. No much more to say. Lieutenant Cyrus was also participated in the rape, so he's personally liable. But yeah, his hesitation isn't a defense because of the individual aspect of liability of criminal law. Some of the defenses that might have been raised were that they're superior orders. I was following orders, but this usually fails, as you'll see in my memorandum. So yeah, if there's a manifestly unlawful order, it must be refused. Duress could be another argument, but that only works if there's an immediate threat and not a real choice to choose. So it would be pretty hard to prove, and I don't think that this one would go through. But the final takeaway is that ICL stops leaders hiding behind power, keeps people responsible, from top planners to ground offenders.